From the Denver Broncos finding their next quarterback, potentially in a big trade. We're going to break it down on the DNVR Broncos podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge here at the DNVR Bar, where this morning I thought about how this bar is going to be lit come Saturday night when the Nuggets take on the Lakers. But we have a jam-packed show, so let's dive right into it with Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis, Henry Chisholm. You here behind the camera, and yours truly. We're talking about trades. We're doing a mock draft. We got Baldy on at 11:30. There is so much to get into, but before we get into our mock draft with trades to see if the Broncos make a trade up. We don't have to force a trade. They can pick a 12 in this. Yep. But I want to get your guys' take right now, 8 days before the draft. We know how this team is set right now. We know all the rumors and reports out there. I want to know how much you guys would be willing to give up for all of these top 6 quarterbacks. And maybe you say, hell, I don't want I don't want that guy at all, let alone at the 12th pick. So let's just start. Caleb Williams isn't really on the table. Yep. So I'm not even going to ask you guys because the Bears are taking him. There's no question about that. But these other ones, how much would you be willing to give up, Todd, for Jayden Daniels?
I think I would give up first rounder. I think I'll give up one more first rounder.
So 2025 first plus 12?
2026. How far can we push this thing out? I think I would give another first rounder for Jayden Daniels.
That's it.
Yeah.
They say 3, you're done.
No,
you're off. Okay.
Yeah.
Henry?
This is the only tough one for me, but I think I probably would too. I think
what?
I would probably also give up a future first.
What about a third a third first rounder?
No. Even giving up next year's first would be kind of tough.
Okay.
Yeah. My plan is actually kind of simple. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be there at 12. I'm happy with it. Like, to me, like, he is a good quarterback. He's like a left-handed Joe Burrow. There's no need to be giving up more picks for any of these guys. Like, if it's me, that's my plan.
Well, we'll get to Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah.
I'm going 3 first-round picks plus.
Wow.
3 first-round picks plus. No second-round pick this year, but a second next year? Sure, I'll do it. I'm giving up the farm for Jayden Daniels. Really, anything's on the table. A team could absolutely fleece me. And I'm doing that for Jayden Daniels. I think he is that dude, and that's the only guy that I feel that way about. I'm not just doing that for a quarterback. I'm trying to take Sean's approach. If I love a guy, anything for him, but I'm not just giving away the farm for a quarterback. It's got to be a quarterback I love. Okay, let's move down the list. J.J. McCarthy, who could go anywhere from 2 to, he could be there to the Broncos at 12 still.
Yeah, I'm only picking him if he's at 12.
Okay.
I think, that's the only way I'm picking J.J. I'm not trading up to get him. I might trade down to get him or pick him at 12, but I wouldn't give up any picks.
If he's there at 12, though, you like the pick?
If he's there at 12, I'm okay with the pick. I'm okay with the pick. I still don't understand all the hype after, the film performance.
Because you didn't see the practice film.
Yeah, because I didn't see the practice film. So I'm okay with the pick. I don't love it, but I'm definitely not going to trade up to go get him.
Fair.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Penix, so I'm certainly not trading up to get McCarthy.
Total man, Penix or bust. You're trying to take. If he's gonna be with Penix,
if he's gonna be there at 12, like that just seems way better than trading up for a worse quarterback.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm just
fair.
not interested.
Yeah. JJ's the other guy that I really like. Maybe not fully head over heels in love, but I really like. So I'd be willing to give up a future first to go up and get JJ. Not the farm, but a future first, which is obviously a lot, especially with this team and where their pick could be next year. Drake Maye.
Oh, man. Because of what he's done in college, I'd probably say I would give up 12th pick and a second rounder.
Okay. Next year,
so a little bit less than Jayden Daniels, but still willing to give up something to move up.
Okay. Move to like pick 8 or 9 for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Henry?
Penix is better. I'll just gamble on him being there at 12.
I'm going the 12th pick. That's it. If he's there at 12, it's like, and I'm not head over heels for it, but it would be fine.
So you like him just as much as JJ McCarthy, you're saying?
Well, I like JJ for
You
an
traded
additional
up for him,
first.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I like JJ a lot more.
It's
than
true.
like
I didn't
Drake May.
realize, just going through all Dane Brugler's stuff, he has a bunch of good stuff in the Beast, which he dropped. It's like top 500 prospects or something. I didn't even realize Drake May has the most yards accounted for of any player in college football over the past 2 years.
Dang.
So, like, while we do say, like, he isn't sharp or polished, he
Yeah.
did do the most of anybody on
Yeah.
just, like, a pure volume scale.
Yeah, that's impressive. And obviously, well, we'll get to Michael Penix Jr., but Michael Penix Jr. joins Patrick Mahomes as the only guys, at least recently, to throw for 4,500 yards or more in back-to-back seasons. Okay, I asked you, yeah, you said you still like Penix. Let's go to Michael Penix Jr. Todd, what would you be willing to give up for him?
I don't know if we have to talk about it because I don't think he'll be there before 12.
That's the
But,
thing.
I mean, let's say he was there. I would give up, a future first and a future second to go get him.
So that would probably get you to pick. I can get you to pick. I think future first, pick 5.
Uh-huh.
Probably not 4, but 5 or 6. So you would be willing to trade. What is that? The most of any quarterback that we've talked about so far.
Yeah. I think I like, Penix the most.
Future first and second.
I think you do, too. That's
Yeah.
what I've seen, yeah.
Is that Henry? And that's kind
It's
of
a
what I'm
weird
picking
one.
up. I'm picking up that vibe from you too.
Caleb, Jayden, MPJ. And then it's a toss-up between Drake May and JJ.
MPJ, man, it would be fun to have 2 MPJs.
It would be fun, especially those two.
And hopefully the Nugget MPJ will become the second MPJ in town.
Wow. Because other MPJ is good, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, not because, yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one because he's probably just there at 12, and I'd almost rather just gamble than, like, I certainly wouldn't give up another first.
Does
Just
he
'cause
love this guy or not? I don't know. He's just saying like he
I'd
would
rather
give,
I'd
he
rather
likes-
play the board.
Uh-huh.
I like the Broncos don't have a lot of picks. If they don't get a quarterback this year, it might be good for them. I would hate it because it would be a lot less fun, but it might be good just to draft somebody else. So, like, if you could give up a third, and the only time I would do that is if the top 4 are off the board. So, like, if you've already got 4 guys gone, Penix is top of the list, then I could get up to 9 if I could do it for a third.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they want next year's second. You're out.
Nah.
Okay.
I'll
fair.
take my chances.
Okay. That's fair. And then Bo Nix. Todd, the most you're willing to give up for Bo Nix.
Probably not going to give up anything for Bo Nix.
So he's off your board. You're not taking him at 12.
If he's still there at 12 and we are going to go with a quarterback, I might trade back and still pick him up.
Yep.
So,
Fair. So trade back for Bo.
I'd take
Yeah.
him at 20.
Okay.
I would trade down to 20. Anywhere in the 20s, I'd get behind it. Again, like, if one of those top 5 guys is there at 12, I'm just taking one of them instead of trading down. But in a world where they're all gone, I would trade down to 20. Or I might just draft a player at 12.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't give my opinion on Penix. I would take him at 12. And if you really think that he might go at 9 and you have to give an additional third up to go get him, I would do that too. And then with Bo, 12's the earliest I would take him. And you do try to have those conversations of, can we trade back and still get him? But the way I operate of only take a quarterback if you love him, take him at 12 if he's there. So that's kind of, we're all willing to make some moves for a lot of these guys, if not all of these guys. So I'm curious as we dive in to our mock draft, our first edition with trades. I'm curious how this pans out. Are the Broncos picking at number 2 in our draft, or are they waiting and being patient? And Todd, you're the guy with the Broncos pick in this one. Henry's got the number 1 overall pick. I've got the number 2 pick. Todd's got the number 3 pick, so that means Todd's got the Broncos pick at 12. And we're going to be doing the negotiating between ourselves. The only rule about this mock is you can't trade with yourself. So, Todd, you've got the 3rd overall pick. You can't trade
give
from
it-
12 to 3. You'll be negotiating with Henry at either 1, 4, 7, 10, or with me So let's dive into this mock after I give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota, where if you want the coolest cars, Toyota has got them at really reasonable prices as well. I love so many of Toyota's cars, but the 4Runner is definitely my favorite. I'm telling you guys, you got to check out the BZ4X. Have no idea what that stands for, but it's cool is what it is. If you look at it, it is like a sports car SUV, and it's all electric. So that's one that I've got my eyes out on. Of course, they've got the classics, the Corolla, the RAV4, so many different types of awesome cars over. The Highlander, if you want one of their big cars, and they've been in the truck game for generations. So if you want to get your hands on any of their cars, or let's say you're a Sienna type of person, you want that minivan, it is awesome. The Tacoma, they've got it all over at Toyota. So if you want to roll with a new Toyota, check out our friends. They've got so many locations in the Front Range at AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL and official vehicle of DNVR.
I said yesterday that I was going to bet on the Lakers to lose.
Yeah, and I told you no.
But then before the game, I was like, I can't do this because I want them to win so badly. And so I bet with my heart, which is usually a bad thing. So I hit my parlay. Lakers win and the Kings win.
Wow.
And now I have all this money in my account because I also had the Scottie Scheffler win from the Masters, which is mostly just me winning my money back from betting on other guys too. But I'm tempted just to put it all on the Nuggets to win the championship. It's like 3-1 odds over there with our friends at Bet365, which doesn't sound like all that much, but then you put the number in and you see what it pays out, and you're like, wow, if that's what it pays out, that 3-1 actually is pretty good. 4 times this amount really is good. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly to do. Maybe I'm taking like the spread on this Lakers series because you could take. I think the sweep is like 5-1 odds. I don't think I do the sweep though. Like maybe like -1.5 or 2.5. But it's a tough time. Luckily, we've got a few more days to figure out how exactly to bet all of that. And I guess tonight there's more playing games too. I don't lock in as much for the Eastern Conference, but there's more to bet. And all of that should be done over at Bet365, where you can use the code DNVR365 to sign up, deposit $10, and you can choose between either a bet and get offer and place a bet of $5 or more and get $150 in bonus bets, or a first bet safety net offer by placing a bet up to $1,000. And if your qualifying bet loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem or wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
And of course, all of our Broncos draft coverage is brought to you by our friends over at Raising Cane's. Order online at RaisingCanes.com or through their mobile app. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love. All right, Henry, let's dive in. The Chicago Bears are on the clock.
Either you want to try to blow me away for this pick?
Nope. Whoa, we don't want to.
There we go.
We're not doing that.
That's a hot start to the mock draft.
Hey, Henry asked, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's got a whole bunch of firsts, maybe some players they want to throw in, but
there's no chance.
There's no
chance that the Bears are trading this pick.
Do you
but
think?
I'm general manager Ryan Poles sitting right here. Give me all your firsts. Give me Pat Surtain. Give me Quinn Miners. And if there's anybody else who's valuable too.
I'm just going to say no.
Just make
Okay.
Just
It's Caleb
make
Williams.
the damn pick.
It's Caleb Williams.
The pick
I always
is
wanted to
in.
reject somebody. Oh, the pick is in.
Jeez,
the pick
you're
is
a bad
in.
general manager.
It's not the general manager's job to say the pick is in. My job is to see if I can get any good offers. Hey,
It is his job to say the pick is in.
No,
though.
his job is the jingle.
Exactly. Oh, I love it.
Okay.
The second pick is in just as quickly as the Chicago Bears made this pick.
Oh, wow.
There's no trade in this
Really?
pick. Oh, yep. The pick is in instantly when Caleb Williams is off the board as expected with the second overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Washington Commanders select quarterback Jayden Daniels.
Wow.
If I'm, this isn't, I mean, you guys know, we just talked about how much I'd be willing to give if I'm the Broncos for him. If I'm the Commanders, this is such an easy pick. I'm taking Jayden Daniels and not even answering any phone calls about trades.
Did you see what they did last night?
The Commanders?
Yeah.
Took them all to dinner?
Yeah, they had all of their top 30 visits. They just invited it must have been 25, 30 guys, you would think. Took them all to Topgolf last night and then have whatever they're doing today. What a really weird way to handle that. They had JJ McCarthy, Jayden Daniels, and Drake Maye. It's like The Bachelor.
Yeah, you want to
Just
see
take them all out there and see what happens.
You want to see who the alpha is?
Exactly.
I
yeah.
remember at the Senior Bowl when we were there, the Broncos staff was there. It was Baker Mayfield. That was Drew Lock as well. Daniel Jones. I mean, it was like the most loaded Senior Bowl in terms of quarterbacks. And it was so clear who the leader and the alpha and who the teammates gravitated towards. It was Baker Mayfield by like a landslide. And that's when his ascension started. So it is a weird way to do it. But like if you get all the top dogs in a room
Yep.
with like other guys that are in the draft process, you can maybe see who like rises above. Now, maybe that's not the best way to judge, but it's like one little sample size.
I think it's great, and I think it also tells you like who's drinking, who
Yeah.
drinks heavy on nights like this. Like how are they treating the waitresses?
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
how do they handle themselves in public? Like
Who's ordering for the table?
you know what I'm saying? I think it's a good way to see different personalities all together. Well, the rest gets to pick up.
I'm
Yeah,
sure-
the Commanders
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
it's
Somebody
pick up
gonna
that
offer?
bill.
I'll pay.
The Commanders
Wow.
before the ownership change might have saw who picked up the bill.
If you're gonna do that, at least like invite ESPN or something to come film it. Like let us all see, because you basically just put on a reality show
Yeah,
anyway.
It's true. Sell it.
Yeah.
So I'm on the clock.
You're on the clock.
Ooh,
The,
number 3 is a tough one.
Who is this? The
Patriots.
Patriots
Yeah.
are on the
Patriots.
clock.
I think it's not tough. I think we're going to go quarterback.
Oh.
The only caveat is, this Jayden McCarthy guy's been picking up steam, and so we've really been watching his practice film and seeing how good he's been doing. But nevertheless, I think the pick is in, and with the third pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Drake Maye, quarterback out of North Carolina.
So the dust finally settles, and it
Yeah.
still is. He doesn't lose that much steam.
No, I think he's still high on the leaderboards.
That's fair. Were you open to a trade?
Nobody mentions anything.
That's fair. That's
you
fair.
know?
So you
Nobody
would
came
have
knocking
been?
on my door. I would have listened.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
listen.
I know we need a quarterback, but I would have listened.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Now this is where it gets really juicy. 3 quarterbacks off the board. Henry,
Yep.
you talked about earlier. If it goes like quarterback, and then you even mentioned quarterback again, then that's when teams really get desperate to get like the 5th quarterback. But is this a spot where a team's super desperate to get up for a quarterback?
I mean, you're the Vikings,
And the
Yep.
Vikings.
so
That's
is this
the
a
biggest
spot?
one.
yeah,
Yeah, it is.
it is. It is. I'm certainly thinking about it. Todd, you're the Broncos. I'm the
Oh, yeah.
Vikings. Todd, you are also
The Bears and
the Giants.
Yeah.
Giants, there's been mocks where they jump up from 6 to this spot. And I'm also, so I'm 2, 5. Chargers aren't moving up. And 8, the Falcons aren't moving up. So the only team I've got that's moving up is the Vikings. And yeah, I'm calling you.
Yeah,
Henry.
yeah.
I'm calling you. Do we want to have these talks first, or are the Broncos trying to make a move, or
Well,
are
what do you
Broncos
have
chilling
here?
right now? Well, I got 2 first-round picks this
Yep.
year. So you get 2 players this year, which is more valuable. So I'm willing to give up both those first-round picks. What is it, 11 and 23?
Yep.
I think.
Wow.
I'm willing to make that move right now. And these are the most valuable picks you can get in terms of first-rounders because they're this year.
Yeah. Can you give me the 3rd next year?
A 3rd?
Yep.
I'll give you a 3rd-round pick next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
A first, and a 3rd.
Yep.
I'll give you. Well, I'm the Giants.
You're the Giants. You're not
Yeah.
going Broncos. Okay. Oh, Giants
No.
too, though.
I'm the Giants. So to move up to 4th, I'll give you another first this year. I'll give you my first this year, a first next year.
Oh. Whoa.
So just
It's like
the 6th,
Yeah.
and then my first round next year. That's my opening offer. I mean, you're only going down 2 spots. If you really want Marvin Harrison Jr., he's probably still there for you. I think this is a good win-win for everybody.
The tough part is that I really like the idea of getting both of Zach's first. Can you give me your 2nd this year? Pick 47, dead
Yeah,
center of the round.
I think you're being a little bit greedy. So,
Okay.
if it's not going to work, we'll just pick
Okay.
at 6 and hope that our guy is there.
Do you want to counter
Because
offer Zach?
you're not going quarterback, and the Chargers aren't going quarterback. So this is kind of an assurance policy just to make
Okay.
sure Zach didn't get it. But if it doesn't work out,
If you turn that 3rd next year into a 2nd
Yep,
next year,
I'll
I'll take
do
it.
it.
There we go.
Done.
We got it done.
Wow.
First, 2nd next year.
I would have taken Todd's offer in a heartbeat over that.
I know
But
the Giants
I'm-
might be really
I'm
bad.
thrilled. So the Vikings are now picking number 4, and the pick is in. With the 4th pick in the NFL draft, the Minnesota Vikings select quarterback J.J. McCarthy.
Yep.
And it only costs him an additional first. And actually, it only costs him after this year a second-round pick.
Yep.
Yeah, this is easy. I'm feeling so good if I'm Kevin O'Connell.
Yep. As you probably should.
And the Chargers are now on the clock.
That's technically you.
That is technically
That is
making
you,
back-to-back
yes.
picks. And I have some awful news for Broncos Country. The pick is in faster than anything could be done. With the 5th pick in the draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Marvin Harrison Jr. And they think they just landed the best player in the draft at number 5
Great
overall.
Mike Williams replacement. They got 2 big guys,
Yeah.
so you don't have to worry about the speed so much with them.
Yeah.
Still sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. And now the Giants are on the clock. They tried to get a quarterback. Is that the way they're going this time?
No, we've kind of pivoted since he picked J.J. McCarthy. I think we're going to stick with the current quarterback we have. We're paying him a lot of money. But I think he can use another offensive weapon. So with the 6th pick in the 2024 NFL draft, I guess the pick is in. The New York Giants select Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Yep.
It's a really good pick. Now the 7th pick is on the clock, and that's the Tennessee Titans.
Oh wow, it's me, the Tennessee Titans. Geez, this is a tough one. It's so tough to remember that they're a totally different team now than they've been the past 5 years with the new coach. Because with Joe Alt sitting right there, it seems too easy. But they don't really have any receivers. Treylon Burks is no good. You have one more good receiver right there. I guess they've got Hopkins
Calvin
too, but he's
Ridley.
old. And Ridley too. I forgot they got
Yeah.
Ridley.
You don't
So
know
I
your
guess you
team.
could get by
This is
about
embarrassing.
that. It is embarrassing for me and my team.
Is anybody trading?
I'm not. No.
You're
don't
not
think
trying
I
to get
am
up?
either.
Okay.
No.
At this point, there's 5 quarterbacks taken. 4?
Yeah. 4. Yep, 4.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll wait it out.
I might go a little bit off the board here. Let's oh, the pick is in. The pick is in.
This has to be easy.
With the 7th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Dallas Turner,
Wow.
freaky edge rusher.
That's a mistake.
Wow, that is
Not a mistake, but a
but
surprise.
it's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Very
And they've got
surprising.
decent
I thought Dallas
tackles,
Turner
they've
was
got-
falling to me at number 8. So, being the Atlanta Falcons at number 8, this pick's open if the Denver Broncos want to move up to get a quarterback.
Well, I think I got the Bears, the Jets, and then who's next? Bears, Jets, and Vikings traded with who?
Cardinals. That's the
I don't think any of those guys are looking for quarterbacks.
no.
And I think I am.
Okay, then give me just a second next year from the Broncos. 12 and a future second
For what?
for 8.
But I don't need it.
Okay, fine. The pick is in. With the 8th pick in the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons just feel like, oh my gosh, the best tackle in the draft fell to him. Give me Joe Alt at number 8.
Yeah.
You have to.
Just best player available to protect their $180 million quarterback in Kirk Cousins. All right, I'll take it. Now the 9th pick, the who is that?
Bears?
The Chicago
Bears.
Bears.
Yeah,
Around the
Bears.
clock.
So I think, we got Caleb Williams early. We were willing to trade this one away, but I don't think there's anybody worth trading with right now. Maybe after the 12th, there might be some teams that come calling. But I think we need another weapon. I think we're trying to, double dip like the Texans did last year and get another phenomenal player in the first round. So the pick is in. And with the 9th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Roma Dunze,
Oh,
wide
man.
receiver
Wow.
out of Washington.
What a dream.
That's a steal at 9.
So I
Dream
think our
scenario.
offense is
Yep.
pretty potent
Cooking
right now.
with Mike
Yep.
Williams. Oh my God, you got those 3 receivers.
Yeah.
That is insane. Speaking of insane, our friends over at Raising Canes are insane. We got to pause the draft right now because we got our guy,
that's right.
Brian Baldinger, join us in just a second. Got to give you a shout out to our friends over at Raising Canes, where they have the best chicken fingers you can find, always cooked to order, which is huge. They've also got the crinkle cut fries, buttery Texas toast. You can build the sandwich like Todd does. You get 2 pieces of Texas toast, and then you put the chicken fingers inside. I'm throwing the coleslaw on top as well. You guys are just sticking to the cane sauce on top of that. You can't go wrong, whatever you do over at Raising Cane's. The only way to make it better is by ordering online or through their app, so you don't have to wait in the line because it's such a popular place. Sometimes those lines get long. Order online or through their mobile app over at RaisinCanes.com. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
And shout out to Coors Light, the only beer that is made to chill. Literally is made cold.
It's true.
It is cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged. When it's time for a refresh, just open a Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. That means it's cold from the time that it is made, from the time that you sip it, and you should be chilling with the coldness. I don't want to say in your mouth, but you know what I'm saying? It should be good. It should be refreshing.
Coldness in your mouth is okay.
I mean,
That
it could
is
be
okay.
worse.
Better
Yeah.
than warmness in your mouth.
Yeah,
See,
you
and
don't,
that's-
you don't
there
want
you
that.
go.
You don't want that. And if you want to get Coors Light delivered straight to your door, you can do so through Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. And please remember to celebrate responsibly. This is Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado.
And a reminder to, if you listen on podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
Yes.
make sure to turn downloads on. It really helps us. But then
Download
it'll
it.
also alert you when the podcast is posted so you can listen to it right away. So it helps you, really helps us. What you do is go to the podcast app on your phone. Top right, go to the Broncos Podcast. Top right of the screen, there's a little button that it has like a pause through it and a download. Click on that, and then it's going to give you two options. Click turn automatic downloads on. Really, really helps us. And even if you listen through iTunes or Spotify, or you just watch on YouTube, if you do that, it'll really help us. We really, really appreciate everyone tuning in. So you hear, as we wait for Baldy, would you mind pulling up the board right now? Because I want everyone in the Toyota chat to let us know what they would do. Broncos are 3 picks away. They still have 2 quarterbacks on the board with Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix. And then there's also still every defensive player outside of Dallas Turner on the board. Brock Bowers is on the board. Let me know in the Toyota chat what you're going to do. And Todd, you get to think about this for the next 15 minutes. If the Broncos are trading up, if they're staying put. But I just heard that our guy, Brian Baldinger, is joining us. Baldy, what's going on?
Hello, guys. We're in the countdown. We're in the countdown here, 8 days now before this draft. So I don't know. I don't know about you, but that's my world. That's all we're talking about right now.
Man, I completely agree with you. Outside of someone not showing up to Broncos offseason workouts, Courtland Sutton kind of shook up Broncos country this week by not showing up, saying he wants a new contract. Baldy, if you're the Broncos and you approach this, what type of player is Courtland Sutton and his value to this team? Is he someone that you're willing to trade away before the draft because they don't really need him? Or is he someone that you have to make sure is on this team with especially the lack of offensive weapons that this team has?
Well, I think you need him. If Jerry Jeudy gets traded away, you can't trade away your number 1 and number 2 receiver from a year ago. And they've been the number 1 and number 2 receivers for at least the last 2 years or 3 years. So, I mean, it'd be hard to – I know they signed, they drafted Marvin Mims last year and signed Josh Reynolds, but Courtland Sutton's just your big X receiver. He's got great leaping ability. He's been dependable for the most part. He had some really good seasons early on when he first got there at SMU. Everybody wants a new contract. I don't know if you just capitulate to everybody, but I don't think trading Courtland Sutton because he's not at voluntary minicamp, I don't think is the answer right now.
So if you're the Broncos, how concerned are you about it? Is this something where you just say like, oh, he's not here, no big deal. We'll see if he's here during the mandatory practices, or do you reach out and make sure everything's all right?
Well, I think you have to be in communication. This is a business decision. And so he's willing to say, all right. We've seen, teams or players try to force teams' hand. We saw Kyler Murray a couple years ago before he got paid, said, I'm never going to play for the Cardinals, scrubbed the social media. That stuff kind of happens. Zach Martin said, he's not coming to camp until the Cowboys give him a new contract. Well, he's been a 5-time All-Pro player. A little easier for the Cowboys to say, okay, we will relent. We'll do something to the contract. I don't know, be honest with you, I don't know where you slot, Cortland right now. He's not a top 10 receiver in this league, but I don't know how you slot him. CD wants a new contract. We've seen a lot of receivers get paid recently, but we've also seen Puka Nacua come in the 5th round and light this league up. And I've seen that happen. I forget his name right now in New Orleans, but I should remember. Out of Hofstra, he came into the Saints and had more catches his first 2 years in the league as a 7th-round pick than anybody in the history of the game. So, if you're going to call Sean Payton's bluff, I mean, he's got success on his side saying, I'll go to the draft and get a guy. No, that's kind of the game you're playing if you're Courtland Sutton right now.
If you had to guess, Baldy, how long do you feel like this situation would take? We talked about it yesterday on the show. Like, if the Chiefs can allow Chris Jones to wait it out and let it get into the season, how much time could they give to Courtland Sutton, and how long do you think it'll take before he's back on the team and back, working out?
I've heard a bunch of opening speeches from coaches to teams in the last couple of days since they started these mini camps in the off-season program, and they've almost all said this is involuntary. So thanks for being here. Meaning you don't have to be here. Courtland's been a veteran player. I guess what would hurt is just timing with Jarrett Stidham in the second year. If they draft a quarterback and they get busy and he's not there, it's not going to help the development of any young quarterback, whoever that might be, if they do that. So I can't see anything. It's not like, I don't know, let's just say CeeDee Lamb isn't there with Dak Prescott. I can't see CeeDee Lamb's not being the number one receiver in every situation in Dallas because CeeDee's not there waiting for a new contract. I mean, these two have known each other for 3 years now. So, the situation could be a lot different here with the young Jarrett Stidham starting a few games last year and then maybe a rookie quarterback coming in.
All right, Baldy, back to the draft where, like you said, we've been living outside of this Courtland situation for months now. When it comes to Michael Penix Jr., we all are very high on Michael Penix Jr. I know so are you. There was a great question dropped in the Toyota chat about how much does a left-handed quarterback change things for an offense? From the offensive line, that's your expertise, to wide receivers, and then also to Sean Payton and the playbook and play calling. How much does that disrupt things, or maybe it's a good thing?
Oh, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. If you're looking at Garrett Bowles, he's now protecting the front side of Michael Penix, Fatano did at Washington, and he's going to be a top 20 pick in this draft. I think it flips everything. You become more of a left-handed team than a right-handed team. But I don't think Sean Payton would struggle with that at all. What your strength is and how you design your passing routes and all that kind of stuff, your 3x1 sets and everything. I think that's pretty easily adjustable. But, the ball's going to come out different for all these receivers. But it didn't look like Roma Duze or Jalen Polk or Jalen McMillan. They had a right-handed quarterback before Michael got there, and they became, the most prolific deep passing offense in all of college football. So everybody adjusted just fine to him.
Yeah, I've got a few questions about the centers in this draft class because that's one of the needs the Broncos have. First of all, it seems like the consensus top center is Jackson Powers-Johnson out of Oregon, the 1-year starter, wins the Remington in his only year there, has the NFL size and strength, all those sorts of things. Is he just kind of the open and shut case number one center in this class, or is there some conversation there?
No, there's conversation.
Okay.
There's certainly a conversation with Graham Barton at Duke, who was a left tackle the last 2 years at Duke, but as a freshman, true freshman at Duke, he started the last 5 games at center. So they've seen him play center. And, and just knowing guys that know Graham better than I do, I've known him a little bit, but and guys that are talking to him on a regular basis, teams are sort of asking him, they're sort of penciling him at a variety of positions, but I think his best position, I think he can be a Pro Bowl guard for sure because of the way he runs, his power, his run blocking ability, but he might be that type of player at center as well. Like Graham Barton's in that conversation. Zach Frazier, West Virginia. You turn any game on and you watch West Virginia, you watch Zach Frazier. He's a state wrestling champ. You watch him the last 3 years at West Virginia. He's going to be probably the top of the second round, but he might be, a late first-round pick too. I mean, he's in that category. And then, Cedric Van Pran at Georgia has been a 3-year starter there. His arm's a little too short for me. But you could go, as far down as Hunter Nuzad at Penn State, and you watch Hunter play, and he looks like he could be a third-round pick. And, like a Tyler Biotic, who came out of, Wisconsin, I think, in the third round, became the starting center for the Cowboys the last 4 years. I mean, you can see this is a good draft for centers. You might not get Graham, at the very top. But I think, from Zach Frazier on, I think there's 3 or 4 guys that can compete for a starting position at center.
So if you go into the draft as the Broncos with the plan being, maybe it's quarterback at 12 and then their second pick is pick 76 in the third round, can you plan on getting the quarterback first and then a center in the third round? A starting center, somebody who can beat out Sam Mustipher?
Yeah, I think Sam can be beat out. I mean, he has played center. He's played guard in Chicago. But that's a position they have to upgrade right now. I thought they needed to upgrade it even with Lloyd there last year. I think it needed to be upgraded. So I don't know if Ben Powers can play center. I know, he's the left guard and all that, but sometimes you look at a guard. And, for example, last year, the Rams drafted Steve Avila in the second round at a TCU. Played every snap at left guard for the Rams and upgraded the offense line. Well, they lost their center. They're putting Avila in at center now, and they're replacing him with the guard. I think it's easier to replace a guard than it is a center. Philadelphia is taking Cam Jurgens, who played guard last year, putting him at center right now for Kelsey. So I would look at either one of those guys, whether it's Quinn or Ben, to see if they have the ability to play center, if they can't draft one right now.
He kind of stole my question, but we talked about, of course, center with the third pick, but the Broncos also have some other needs, tight end, cornerback, kind of inside linebacker. Do you think that center would be the best position to pick in the third round, or do you feel like you could maybe find a better position there and get a center in the fifth? What do you think would be best for the Broncos?
I'd like to get my offensive line fixed, and I think you're only as strong as your center at offensive line. If your center is weak or not elite, then your offensive line just isn't going to be there. So I'd like to get my offensive line fixed, and if the draft can help me do it, like I think you'll see the Cowboys draft a center, I think you'll see the Steelers draft a center, and they're going to try to complete their offensive lines. I'd like to see Denver do that. Maybe it's their third-round pick. Maybe they've got, a bunch of fifth-round picks. Maybe you trade up. You got a bunch of sixth-round picks. Maybe you trade up to get a guy, in that second round. You trade up to go get your guy. I like to get my offensive line fixed with 5 and then address the depth as you go along.
As Todd said, tight end is one of the positions the Broncos need. And Brock Bowers, a guy that might be there at 12, is he worth it? Because a lot of people don't put a lot of stock in that tight end position. Would he be is he good enough to take it at 12?
He is, if you really build your offense around him. I mean, if you just draft him and he's just your third option, like, George Kittle isn't an elite option in San Francisco. In fact, there's some weeks he's kind of invisible.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard sometimes, but that's because they're really good and talented on the outside and the running back is elite. So he isn't the number one option, but they find him enough where he can go catch 11 touchdown catches. The guys like TJ Hawkinson was not used very well in Detroit. Gets traded away, and he looks like he's an elite option in Minnesota right now. Now we'll find out with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison all healthy, and we'll see what that looks like. But I think Brock Bowers can be just the way Mark Andrews is, just the way Kelsey is. I think he can be your number one option, especially you look at the receivers that they currently have in Denver right now. And then it's a question of, like, I know that Brock Bowers would be a huge red zone option in Denver, and that would be enticing to Sean Payton for sure, to finish drives in the end zone with points. After the catch, route running, he's a very good blocker. He's much more than just a flex tight end for sure. He can play tight end. He's definitely an option if he gets past, the Jets at 10. I mean, I think he's going to be there, in that position, because I don't think the Vikings at 11, if they stay there, are going to take a tight end with TJ there. So, like, he's sitting there probably for Denver And I don't think the Jets are going to take him. They got a deep tight end room right now. They got 4 guys that they like. So I think he's going to be there at 12. It's a question of how the Broncos value that position right now.
Do you think Sean Payton would be tempted by that? Because like we've seen him kind of build offenses. You know, you think back to, you know, Alvin Kamara. Some weeks he's kind of the game plan. You build off of him. Sometimes it's building off of Michael Thomas. He seems like he kind of builds his offense in that way. So each week you don't necessarily know who that guy is. So to me, it feels like it could be a good fit. Have Brock Bowers kind of in that rotation. Do you see that the same way?
Yeah. I think Sean is. I don't think you can pigeonhole Sean's offense. I mean, I know he had Drew Brees for a long time, and that made things real pliable. But I'm with you. Like, I've seen him have great success with free agent running backs that, you know, were great screen catchers. He went to a Super Bowl with one of those guys. So I can see Sean certainly, adjusting his offense and creating offense around his star players, and that's what Brock Bowers is going to be at tight end right now.
Yeah, and Baldy, you're our star player. We really appreciate you joining us today. But before we let you go, I got to get a breakdown of Baldy's adventures. What do you have coming up this weekend? Anything before the draft?
It's kind of like Draft Central right now.
Yeah.
I could jump down to the Bahamas, and a buddy of mine who's got his boat down there spearfishing. But I feel like spearfishing lionfish right now versus studying 6th-round offensive linemen. I think I'm out for the film room this weekend.
Man, that's how you know you're the ultimate grinder, when you skip the Bahamas to be looking at 6th-round offensive linemen. That's why we love having you on. Thanks so much for the insight, Baldy.
Yeah, you bet, guys. I'll talk to you next week, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy the weekend.
That sounds great, man. Unfortunately, guys, I think I would be jumping down the Bahamas this weekend instead of studying the Broncos' future 6th-round potential offensive lineman. Sorry
without
about
a doubt.
that.
No, without a doubt.
Awesome insight from Baldy. Okay, Todd, you've had 15 minutes to think about what to do next.
This is pick 10?
This is pick 10.
Okay. So the Jets.
You love Michael Penix Jr. You thinking about doing a little trade right now? Or are you chilling?
I'm big chilling. I'm Coors Light chilling.
Wow.
And because the Vikings have traded up in front of the Broncos, you have the Jets at 10.
Mm-hmm.
If they really want to piss off Aaron Rodgers, they could draft Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix.
Yep.
Probably not the smartest thing as a GM to do there. And then you have the Cardinals at 11. They have Kyler Murray, but do they want a backup plan?
Mm-hmm.
You're not feeling nervous.
I think this is my
I think
pick.
so. Yeah, you're the 10th.
Yeah. I'm asking the Broncos. Like, do the Broncos
okay.
want to
I was really
up here?
confused. I counted through that like 4 times. I was like, wait, what?
So Henry, the New York Jets are on the clock.
No trade offers here?
I don't have any picks left,
Yeah, no,
so
that's
it's not
smart.
coming from me.
Brock Bowers.
Wow.
With the 10th
Oh, sorry.
pick.
I forgot. We had a long break since the last one. With the 10th pick in the NFL draft, the 2024 NFL draft, I should say, New York Jets select Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia.
This is what the pick Baldy identified as. If he gets past 10,
Yeah.
he'll be there for the Broncos. And so you spot on
Just
with him not
brighten
being there.
Aaron Rodgers' day. It might be, I don't know. What's he doing now? Saying the government created HIV.
Yeah,
I think that's just the last couple days. That's what he
Yeah.
spent
You
doing.
don't.
Yeah.
You believe or don't believe?
I guess I just never considered it. So I mean, I just assumed that was just a disease, but who knows? Maybe. Guess there's a small chance he's right.
This is, I mean, if Rome's gone and the other 2 receivers are gone, what a pickup for Aaron Rodgers at 10 right here. And even though you like him, Todd, I noticed you smiled right when this pick was made. You're happy with non-quarterback right here.
Yeah, I thought they would have got an offensive lineman to protect Aaron Rodgers. But if Brock Bowers is there, then he just doesn't have to hold the ball as long. So
Kinda
works
that's
out.
a great question. Kind of knowing Aaron Rodgers and how the Packers never drafted a first-round receiver for him. Do you think he would rather have an offensive weapon or an offensive lineman?
I think an offensive lineman, because the weapons, if I can't have time to throw to you, then
It's true.
Doesn't matter how good I am or you are, you know?
And what? He played 4 plays last year because he had no protection and
Yep.
eventually got hurt. Yeah, you got to stay healthy in order to throw to those guys. So
I think so.
I would agree with you there. All right, the Cardinals are now on the clock. Back-to-back picks for Henry,
Oh, this is me?
isn't it?
Oh,
It
yeah.
was,
Because
because you went back to back, yeah.
I have a trade
You're really
to
bad at
propose.
this game. Whoa.
With who?
Pick 13 because I'm also the Raiders.
We're not going to 13. That's why I'm not.
But the Raiders want to propose a trade.
But you're the Raiders?
Yeah. But I'm also the Cardinals, which I had forgotten.
You can't trade with
So
yourself.
somebody,
with
come
yourself.
on. No, yeah. I was supposed to be a trade with
You're
Yaya.
here. You got
You're
to
the,
help here. So wait, which pick are you forfeiting?
So
Which pick is you here taking?
take the Cardinals. Take the Cardinals.
Okay, you here's on the clock.
And I'm offering you the
Uh-oh,
13th
Todd's getting
pick.
nervous.
They're not trading twice. You're not trading back twice.
I don't know.
It's not what happens.
What are you
Tell 'em
offering?
that. I'll give you 13. I'll give you.
So to move 2 spots.
No, on the Raiders, you're the Cardinals.
No, other
No,
way.
you're the
Other way?
Cardinals.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
Cardinals.
Go ahead.
So I'll
keep
give you
it.
13. I'll give you 77,
Which is a third.
a third, and I'll throw in next year's 4th round pick too, just to get a little juicy. You drop back 2 spots.
Now, you already dropped all the way
It's a
down.
hell of a value.
You know what I'm saying? If you want a good player and you want to come out of this dump that you're in as the Cardinals, you should probably pick somebody.
I'm also like,
Or Todd.
can you throw in the 2nd round pick?
Oh
instead-
wow.
Okay, well, I'll give you this year's 2nd if you throw in like next year's 3rd. I'll give you a 1st, this year's 2nd. You give me next year's 3rd
Not doing it unless you give me
Really?
everything you said.
for 2 spots.
If I'm the Raiders, dude, you either get Bo Nix or Penix. If you believe in either of those guys, you're at 13. You don't got to move up. You don't got to give up any trade capital. Like, I mean, if you're the Cardinals, you also have like all these pieces that you need so much more help with.
You need a lot
So
of
you don't
help.
want to drop back 2 spots?
You know what I'm
You need
doing
a
if
lot
I'm
of
the
help.
Cardinals? I'm immediately calling the Broncos.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
saying,
Yeah.
the Raiders trying to trade up to this spot right now. We'd rather just trade back 1 spot because we don't need a quarterback and we don't want to risk losing our guy in the next 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have? What are you offering right here?
What did he give? A pick swap and a
Yeah. Like 13, this year's 2nd, and I get next year's 3rd back.
What I'll say is the Raiders, in terms of the trade value chart, are losing so
Yeah.
much value with what they're offering.
That's what you got to
right
do for
now.
quarterback, though.
No, I don't
Yep.
disagree. I'm just saying it's a bad trade for the Raiders.
I'm just here to get in front of the Broncos.
They're willing to give it. Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you. We'll just do a pick swap and a 3rd next year. You don't have to give me anything. Keep everything you got, and you just move down 1 pick.
So you're saying,
Just a swap for a 3rd round pick.
You
Next
just
year.
move down
okay,
1
okay, I
spot
see,
for
for a
3rd.
third round pick. So the offers are the Broncos offer 12 and their 3rd this year,
No,
76?
3rd next year.
3rd next year, which is equivalent to like a
Yeah.
4th actually. So a future 3rd.
But he already said no. So he
Yeah,
doesn't
the
have
thing
to.
is, like, if
You
you're the
said no to who?
Cardinals, like, if you're the Cardinals, it's like, if they're both going for quarterbacks, there's so many more spots you got to fill in. But if you have to make a trade, I'd do the Raiders. Like, that's a way better trade package.
If
Wait,
they're
so
both
you're
going,
saying
if they're
you're
both going quarterbacks, you should definitely trade.
at least with the Broncos.
Yeah, it's free capital.
Because then
See,
you're-
it's
unless
also,
you're
I
going for
hate the
quarterback.
Raiders, so I can't even, like, think about it. This is
I shouldn't have gave you here these powers.
This makes me, like, I hate that team so
You are
much.
you have to embrace
But
it.
if I am the Cardinals, I am taking the Raiders over
And
the
the
Broncos.
thing about it is, we weren't going past 12. So all of these trades, I probably would have traded earlier, knowing that the Raiders are on my tail.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Okay.
I think it's unfair trading with a 13 when we're only doing top 12.
Okay, we'll specify next
Okay.
time. But
Yeah.
I think what we have to do here, because it would just be absolutely foolish for the Cardinals not to do this.
Yep.
If we're not allowing the Raiders to trade in this scenario, the Broncos are trading, and it's going to be that
Yep.
future 3rd. It has to be. The Cardinals wouldn't
Yep.
say no to that unless for some reason they wanted to draft a quarterback, but they're not doing that, right?
Or they hate 3rd round picks,
Right.
but that seems unlikely. Then you just trade it.
So, you cool making that trade? I mean, you are the Broncos.
That's fine.
At the
Okay.
very
I'll make
least, my Oakland Raiders took away a pick from the division.
You're Las Vegas Raiders.
That's right.
Yeah.
I should learn my team name if I'm
That's
gonna
crazy. They went from getting Marvin Harrison Jr. to God knows who.
Who would they go with here? They were obviously in the Marvin Harrison Jr. sweepstakes. Wide receiver probably not worth taking here. Brock Bowers is gone. So I guess, is that worth it?
Probably offensive line.
Yeah.
You can get a
And
tackle.
I don't know
Yeah,
who they
you're getting
have,
the-
but
you're
I'm
getting the
sure it's
second-
not good.
You're getting the second best offensive lineman here. Yeah, it's probably good. And what'd you get from
They had
me?
no weapon.
From the Vikings, you got
You said the 2 picks.
2 picks
Two
this year
firsts
a
and the
future
second next year?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not great.
We might have our Arizona Cardinals insider on next week and
That's
ask
Also,
about
like,
that.
what's stopping the Cardinals from trading back up if they know all this is happening, like, and getting an actual weapon for Kyler?
Yeah, I mean, they could trade up to 8, maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Or or 7,
Yeah.
so they can get Brock Bowers instead. Like,
Yeah, potentially. All right, so the Broncos are on the clock with that 11th pick. You had to have someone in mind, right? Offering a future third to move up here.
Yeah.
Yeah?
The pick is in. I guess with the 11th pick,
There we go.
with the 11th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Michael Penix Jr., quarterback
Wow.
out of Washington.
And Broncos Country goes
Wild.
Wild.
And my Raiders are in shambles.
So that's who he was going to pick.
Thought we had a good
That's why-
I'm clipping
I had
that,
to-
by the way. My Raiders are in shambles.
Yeah. Oh, he said it like 3 times now. Yeah. We have the Oakland version. We have the Las Vegas version. He said it all. Yeah, man. To get a quarterback and give up a future 3rd-round pick, come on. Because this means that Sean Payton put his stamp of approval on a guy. He'd be ecstatic at this, I think. I think most of Broncos Country will be going crazy at this.
Yep. I think it'd be great.
It would be great. It would be really great.
Now, my question for this, and I kind of asked Baldy it because someone in the Toyota chat asked this, is do you kind of commit to him being the starter right away because it's going to be so different than Stidham being a right-handed quarterback compared to a left-handed quarterback? Like, there's going to be somewhat of a transition. I don't think it's a transition that's a negative, but do you commit to him right away for that more so than you would if it's Bo Nix and he is a right-handed quarterback?
I think no matter what, you commit to him being the starter because he can be a starter earlier than a Bo Nix, I feel like. So there's no point in having him sit behind Stidham. I don't think the value, they're fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, firing
Oh,
you in the
firing me.
comments.
Too bad you can't. You know, my tenure, you know what I'm saying? I
We're
can do what
going-
I want.
I think for some reason the comments are mad at you. I think when we throw this on Twitter, you'll get a positive response.
You know, if people want to ban me or fire me, I'm start banning people from the stadium. As the GM, I'm taking all your screenshots of your faces. If you come within 30 feet of the stadium, it's over.
Todd's got that power. Don't mess with him.
Todd does, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Henry, how would you grade the Broncos trading a future third and picking Michael Penix Jr.?
I'd give it an A. You got Penix. Like, I think that's what I said before. When we came in, I think I said, yeah, I give up a future third if that's what it takes to get him. So, yeah,
spot on.
you got a good quarterback. And
It doesn't matter.
give him a no.
Olu?
I'm trying to decide. How about Fuaga?
There we go.
We'll go Fuaga.
Todd, I have to imagine this gets an A+.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good about my job. I feel like I did a good job today. You know, as the GM.
Yeah, and I would go A here. You got a quarterback in the first round. You did not trade down. That would have been bad news in my mind. So going A
Was it?
there. We got a couple super chats.
Also, real quick, it's kind of crazy. I just pulled up all the recent mock drafts, which Mock Draft Database puts together. If you just go through the most recent, it's crazy how often Penix is going to the Raiders. So this one, 30th to the Raiders, 16th to the Seahawks, 32nd to the Raiders, 13th to the Raiders, 16th to the Seahawks, 13th to the Raiders, 13th to the Raiders, 19th to the Rams,
Wow.
30th to the Raiders, 13th to the Raiders, and then like 3 of the next 5 are Raiders. Broncos in there at 12, Vikings in there at 11. It's turned into like the sexy pick there.
That's why I'm happy you tried to, even though it wasn't allowed, that you tried to trade up
allowed.
from 14 or from 13. And I could absolutely see this being a realistic scenario, including whoever's at 11, because I think the Vikings won't be there, getting the call from the Raiders, hanging up, and then instantly calling the
Heck yeah,
Broncos,
you have
being
to.
like,
Yep.
hey, because as we talked about, that whoever's at 11 won't, unless they want a quarterback, which then they're just not answering the phone and they're not trading back with the Vikings
Yeah.
anyways, they would way rather take the Broncos trade because then they're going to land whoever they want at 12. Whoever they were going to get at 11, they're going to land at 12. So, like, man, that's so fascinating. And remember, this came down to a coin flip. If the Broncos would have beat the Raiders in Week 18, the Raiders would have this advantage, and they would be the ones in the power seat. So maybe good the Broncos lost that game.
See,
Yeah.
you got to play the long game. That's how you talk about the Lakers.
Wow.
Sometimes you got to
Yes,
look into the
exactly.
future and
They
see, is
screwed
this
up.
game
Good
worth it?
point.
Now they're just going to get swept. How are they going to feel about that?
But it's going to be a competitive sweep, according to Henry.
I mean, you got to remember those games. Like, there were a couple of those games that were like, with 4 minutes to go, it was like kind of back and forth. I think it was good for the I guess at that point, it's a Western Conference Finals, so
Right.
you don't need to get grounded. But
And you're playing the
especially
Heat.
like a couple of those against Minnesota in the first round.
Yep.
Like when you need to go out there and execute in the last like 3 minutes, I think that could be good before you go into a series against the winner of the Timberwolves and the Suns.
So thank you, Jarrett Stidham, for losing that game, and the rest of the Broncos for losing that game,
Yeah.
potentially. Okay, let's put a bow on this conversation about trading up by giving our Bet365 top 5 players the Broncos would trade up for. So this is kind of through our lens. But who are the top 5 players the Broncos should trade up for? And do we include, I think there's only one rule we need to set before doing this. Do we need to include Caleb Williams, or is, I personally think there's no chance that the Bears trade him, so I think it's a bit silly to include him in here. But if you guys want, we can put him in here, because obviously, if he's available,
I would say
trade
no.
up for him.
It's just too unrealistic.
Okay, no.
Also, I love that we have spring storylines.
Yeah, shout out, I imagine, the Buffs
Yeah.
podcast. Stay tuned to that. We got Jake in the back
Yes.
over here. Okay, so Jayden Daniels is my number 1. It's not even close. Who would your guys' number 1 player to trade up in this draft be?
Yeah, no, I think so too. Because I think he would be my best quarterback if we're taking Caleb Williams out, and if you're trading up, you're doing it for a quarterback.
Todd, I am curious who your number 1 guy is, but for this, it doesn't matter. We got 2 people on Jayden already.
Yeah, we'll keep it like that.
Who would your number 1 be?
To trade up for?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like the most you'd trade up for. It's just who's like the number 1 guy
That's
you'd
what I was
identify.
Yeah.
weighing it like.
I think it's kind of just how you view it.
I was weighing it like Jayden Daniels is going to be super expensive.
Yep.
True.
But he's worth it. And then you got guys like Drake Maye that have a huge upside. It could be a little bit less expensive. So I'll probably pick Drake Maye just because
Okay.
of that factor. If we're talking about trading up.
Okay.
That's
So-
fair.
Because only for
No.
Penix, I don't think you have to trade up for him.
Fair.
So I guess
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't put him on a list.
Or it's like a third or something where
Yeah.
it's so much less value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Man, JJ would honestly be my number 2 here. So we got to vote for Drake. We got to vote for JJ. Henry, who
So
would your vote be for number 2?
I'm kind of tied, so I guess I'd just go to whoever I think would cost less.
It's fair.
I still think that's probably JJ. I think it's more likely Drake Maye goes in the top 3 still, although tides are turning. But also, I'll go Drake Maye.
Okay,
Drake Maye.
There we go. Drake Maye,
Yep.
number 2. And this isn't just quarterbacks. And I think when we view it from a Broncos perspective, it's like
Yeah.
it would be kind of wild if the Broncos traded up. It wouldn't be that wild if the Broncos trade up like 2 spots for Brock Bowers, but it would be wild if they traded a future first in order to get Malik Neighbors or something like that. Like I don't see that happening at all. I think it would be so foolish to go and get a receiver and mortgage your future first-round pick for a receiver when you don't have that quarterback. So that's why I'm not looking at non-quarterbacks right now. For me, I'm still going JJ at number 3 here. What would you guys do?
Yeah, it's probably JJ.
Yep, probably so.
Any other non-quarterbacks here? Or is
No.
maybe this is when Michael Penix Jr. comes into play?
Yeah, I mean, you could throw Marvin Harrison Jr. in there. Just as, things are a little bit shaky right now with the receiver room. And if we haven't identified a quarterback that we love outside of Caleb Williams, then you go get the best receiver in the draft, and then you hope for next year.
Especially if he slips.
Yeah.
Because like it kind of seems like it's like 40% of people like Marvin Harrison, like 35 like Neighbors, and then like 25 like Odunze the best. So if you really like Marvin Harrison and he slips down,
So in this scenario, like quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, 4. The Chargers pick like Neighbors at 5.
yep.
I have a really hard time seeing the Giants not selecting Marvin Harrison. But let's say they
Or
go
it's
quarterback.
Odunze.
Let's say they go quarterback. Yeah, or Odunze.
But we're talking about trading up. So if we need to trade up,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To go get him.
I'm just trying to see how far he would have to fall for that to be a possibility. But yeah, sure. I mean, he's almost the consensus best non-quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, almost.
Sure. I'm good going Marvin Harrison Jr. here. Man, that would be something.
Yeah.
Quarterback at 5? How are we rounding out this list? Non-quarterback?
The thing
Brock
is,
Bowers?
I might just go Penix. Like if you're trading up,
I'd probably
because
go
that's
Penix
where
here.
I want them to. But also in terms of value, there's a real chance you could trade down and get Penix, and so that's what makes it tough.
Why don't we just throw Caleb Williams in there? Like, because
if you're able to do
you
something
could
crazy.
do it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a world where you could get that first round pick. Now it's going to cost you everything.
Could you
own.
imagine? So like it's like 3 firsts, next year's second, the
Pat
second
Surtain.
the year after, Pat Surtain.
Yep.
Probably this year's third. Just give him a little more.
Courtland Sutton?
I mean, they kind of have some receivers already,
Yeah,
but
true.
sure, yeah, why not?
Everything you have, empty the vault.
Garrett Bowles, who's their left tackle?
Yeah, empty the vault.
Quinn still cost controlled.
There we go. That's it. You're giving everything up for Caleb Williams. I like
That's when he's
putting him
at his
on here at
best.
5. I like that, Todd.
He's at his best when nothing works around him.
Well, yeah,
like that's when he
exactly.
just like runs
Everybody's-
around and
yeah.
Yep, it's so true. All right, that was fun. And before we get out of here, let's hit the super chat from our friend TBD007, who says, Day 3 running back, Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, Marshawn Lloyd. I mean, the Broncos have 3 fifths and 2 sixths. They have 5 day 3 picks. Yeah, I could absolutely see them going day 3 running back, and I would be very much okay with that. This is not a top-heavy draft in terms of running backs, but there is some depth. So this is a good year to take a flyer on someone with one of 5 day 3 picks. I'd like that.
Yeah. I would go with Isaac Guerrero, I think is his name. I'm pulling it up. But so he hasn't played a lot, in part because of Guerrero. That's what it is, because of injuries. The Louisville running back, but I think he ran a 4.39. Was he a 4.33 or 4.39? I think he was 4.39 at 220 pounds. He's like a big back.
Wow.
He plays like Samaje in a lot of ways. He's one of the few like polished receiving backs who can pass protect, leak out, do those sorts of things. And then obviously has like the foot speed to get upfield. So he only has like the one season where he's played a whole bunch, which is like this weird because there have been like a couple injuries, but also I think like 16 running backs or something had more touches than him last year in the NFL than he's had in his entire college career, all 6 years. So he should still be pretty fresh. And so day 3 guy, that's where I'd go.
That's a great guy. And then Samaje, no guaranteed money left on his deal, so
Yeah.
maybe that's just a 1-for-1
Yep.
replacement. Neither of you guys have a 1-for-1 replacement.
Wow.
You guys are the best. Thank you all so much for rolling with us. Hit us with a thumbs up on your way out. Turn on downloads, not just on Apple Podcasts, but also on Spotify. That helps us a lot. Thank you all so much. Tomorrow, the Broncos are holding their pre-draft press conference, so we're going to be going a little later. Stay tuned. Maybe around 1:30 or 2 Denver time, but we'll officially put that out over on DNVR_Broncos on Twitter. So make sure to stay tuned a little bit later tomorrow's show so we can bring you the most recent news about the Broncos. We'll see you tomorrow in the afternoon.
We all silly like the mayor.